Okay, what's up, everybody? Good morning. Welcome to a Saturday edition of Morning Scone, presented by Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic. Of course, if you need an orthopedist, you go to Brock. They're the best. And of course, also presented by, that's not what I wanted to do, presented by Parish Construction and Roofing. Um, Repairs, replacements, awful weather this week. If you had some shingles blow around or trees, limbs fall on your roof, hail, we'd love to give you that free, no obligation roofing inspection. Our crews are out and running. Quick reminder, of course, for those who aren't familiar yet, for 3.5 years, I told you do business with someone you know. Well, that's still us. Me, Terrio, Richard Tilley, Joe Morales, our whole crew. We've added Trent Davis to the squad. And our same crews that you come to your home and do the work. Christina in the office, when you call, that's who you'll speak to. And anyway, we'd be thrilled to help. Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com's pinned there in the chat. Okay, let's say some good mornings. LSU wins game 2, 4-2. Great performance by Luke Coleman. He gave you 6 2/3. The game, 9 strikeouts, no walks. That's the key for Holman, obviously. When he's a strike throwing machine like that and he keeps the walks down or to literally 0, you have to earn everything against him, and he's really good when he's on, and he was on, and they needed him to be. So Little came in, got the final out of the 7th, couldn't get it done in the 8th, so they brought in Herring for the second consecutive day, and he got the save. Went 2 innings through 23 pitches, so unlikely you'd see Griffin Herring today in any capacity, given that it would be his 3rd consecutive day. Tommy White homered in the 1st. You saw some clutch hitting. By the way, White's homer came on a 1-2 pitch. How about Alex Milazzo with an RBI single in the 2nd? You were able to put up the crooked number in the 5th when Travinsky had an RBI ground out, and then Pearson had the RBI single to score Tommy White. So similar to game 1, game 1, you got up 5-0. They hit a solo homer, and that would be your final score. Game 2, you got up 4-0. They hit a 2-run homer. Luke Hill, incidentally, the Episcopal grad from Baton Rouge, hit the 2-run homer, and 4-2 would be your final score. So the bullpen has made these leads stand up for LSU, and that's great news. So the Tigers go for the sweep today. We'll see who Jay Johnson elects to throw. I haven't seen a lineup yet. Game is at 1 o'clock. And I have not heard yet who they're going to start. My guess is, and maybe at some point during the show, while we're doing this here, maybe we'll get that answer. But I don't see it. But my guess, and I'll see if I can get that answer before we're done here today. But my guess is that they'll go Ackenhausen. That's a guess. But Ackenhausen threw 21 pitches, whatever it was, 22 pitches on Thursday. He could very easily come back and try to get you through the lineup once. Maybe get you 3 innings and get you through the lineup once, and hand it off to the bullpen. You'll have some combination of Fidel Ulloa. Lohr could be a situational guy for you. Sam Dutton would be available. Gavin Guidry would be available. If you needed Kate Anderson out of the bullpen or Javen Coleman out of the bullpen, they'd be available. So you got some options. We know at times they've gone to Helmers at his senior day. Maybe Helmers gets an inning or something, but I think a lot of that's just going to depend on circumstance. So we shall see how it goes. But Tigers going for the sweep, and I mean, this is the scenario we've talked about. You want to get to 13 league wins, and we've never seen a team. I'll repeat it. You've heard me say it a million times, but I got to hammer it because it's worth mentioning. In this format since 1999, we've never seen a team go 12-18 and make regionals from the SEC. We've seen 3 teams go 12-17 when they had a game canceled, so win percentage played in their favor. But we've never seen a team go 12-18 and make it to regionals. So LSU has a chance to, for all intents and purposes, knock Ole Miss out and clinch their 13th league win and really put themselves in position to be the last SEC team in the field. It's worth reminding you as well that you have to have your record has to be above 500 in order to get a regional bid. Ole Miss, as of now, is 27-27. So if LSU were to win today, not only would they bump Ole Miss down to 12-18, but they would bump Ole Miss below 500. So Ole Miss would have to go to Hoover and win 2 games just to get above 500. So you really could put Ole Miss on the brink, as LSU and Ole Miss and Florida are kind of fighting for those final at large spot from the SEC. So what we all presume will be the final at large spot from the SEC. Okay, let's say some good mornings here. Y'all know the drill. I hope y'all had a great Friday night. If you're on YouTube, smash that like button, subscribe up to the channel, Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. Abner Neal, what time do you usually start morning Scone on Saturday? Abner, there's never really a set time on Saturdays. It's really just kind of a matter. We let Drew sleep until he wakes up. And a lot of times I'll just kind of sleep in as well. So, I mean, I woke up at 7:30, just kind of laid around in bed for about another hour. And then Drew got up around 9. And so, I got him situated with his backpack, his tube feed and all that sort of stuff. Did my supplement protocol and everything. And so then we started right now about 9:30. So really just depends on Drew. Wendell Norman, good morning. Larry Garner, Kelly Gross, Caleb Brignac, good morning. Gary, good morning, Uncle Scone. Another nice victory. Is everyone safe from the weather? We've done fine here, thankfully, Gary. And I think today, let me check the forecast for today. I think it's supposed to be clear today. Yeah, it looks good today, thankfully. It looks really good today. So y'all enjoy the day. High of 88, low of 69. And I'm looking there. It doesn't look like there's any rain in the forecast for a week, all the way through next Monday. So these storms have passed. It'll give certainly our crews at Parish an opportunity to get out and get on some roofs, because we'll never put people on a roof with when it's raining or wet. That's just a disaster scenario. It's too dangerous. So you got to wait for the storms to pass. But if you need tarping or any type of repairs, we can help you. Parishbuilt.com. By the way, I got Parish, the website pinned in the YouTube chat. Let me pin it in the Facebook chat as well. Excuse me. Let's see. Copy. I want to make sure I got it pinned here in the Facebook chat as well, y'all. So anybody that's interested, where's my live stream? There it is. Okay. Bada bing, bada bang, bada boom. And why isn't it letting me pin? Oh, well. Oh, it's not letting me. I just put it in the Facebook chat as well. It's not letting me pin it. Oh, well. Jeremy Nusslock, good morning. Have I not been saying Nusslock? I thought we've been over this, Jeremy. Did I screw it up? I'm sorry. Jeremy Nusslock. I thought that's what I was saying. That's what I would have been saying. Cortland, Brian, Mount Vernon, Illinois. Okay, Skenes was awesome yesterday. Hey, Dad, good morning. Yeah, man. Ronnie Dugai, good morning. If you missed Skenes yesterday, he had a second start. Both of his first 2 starts now have been against the Cubs. And Paul Skenes almost tied a modern-day record of 8 consecutive strikeouts. He struck out 7 hitters to open the game against the Cubs yesterday. In all, 6 no-hit innings, 11 strikeouts, 1 walk, obviously no runs. So what a day for Paul Skenes. He was on and popping, man. Great for him. Okay. Shane, good morning. Going for the sweep and gender reveal for Baby Destiny. Shane, I got to ask a question. Are we doing a gender reveal party? I mean, to each their own. Or is this just like something you and your wife are doing, like maybe your parents or something like that? I'm curious. Like the gender reveal thing, I know there's a lot of feelings about it. And if you want to know the sex of your baby, that's so. I mean, Erica and I found out before we knew Drew was going to be sick. We found out that he was a boy. We went to is it Angel Prince? Is that the name of the place that they do like the 3D imaging? And so we found out there, and then we went outside and we did a video like it's a boy and posted it all. But I'm curious how you decide. Like, do you do a big like gender reveal party where you invite everybody? Is it just like you and your wife and your kiddos, or how, I don't know. There's a lot of feelings about gender reveals, but most importantly, Shane, I hope that whether it's a boy or a girl, that you have a a happy, healthy baby, that mom and baby are healthy throughout the pregnancy, and that child brings y'all tons of joy and happiness into the world. That's, of course, what's most important. But I hope it's an awesome day for you and your family. Let's see. Daniel Holden. Morning, Matt. Leaving the 318, headed to Charlotte. Okay, Daniel. Safe drive today, assuming you're driving. Cortland, West didn't do us any favors, leaving his reliever in for 90 pitches. So after AFR yesterday, we went to a going away party for a friend, Brooke Barnett, who sold his business, moving to Boca, and happy for him. But I immediately left. So Kentucky won the SEC. Okay. So my point is, I'm sorry, I didn't get to see any scores last night. How about Kentucky? What a story, huh? I mean, look, they were in the Supers a year ago, but boy, they I don't even know if they were ranked to start the season, but boy, they have just been steady and consistent and really good. I'll be curious to watch them throughout this postseason to see, how they may manage. But let's see. How about that? Charlie Condon, Georgia's all-time home run leader. So that's right. I knew that. They won in extras yesterday. That was earlier in the day because that's right. They won in 10, right? It went to 10 innings. Didn't it? Yeah, so Florida won yesterday. But anyway, I still think LSU's in a good spot. Go win today. Get to 13. I think LSU's in a good spot. Dale, good morning. Good any more than 4 cha-chings to win today? Probably so. For those that don't know, that's what Erica doesn't like runs. She thinks that's boring. So she said we should call them something fun like cha-chings. That's what Dale's referring to there. Scott, good morning. Will Kimo Makanaeoli move back to right guard now that LSU has 8 scholarship defensive tackles and the RG2 is a walk-on? Maybe, Scott. And I would probably favor that. And just to be clear, I don't think and it's Stamps, who you're talking about, Christian Stamps, who was running with twos. That was, I think, also a spring thing. I don't think Christian Stamps is going to be your second team right guard. I think you don't look at it necessarily in that sense. I think you look at it to say, like, who are your 5 and then your 6th and 7th best linemen, and those are the ones that play. I would be interested, like, if, for example, something happened to DJ Chester at center. Cohen Eccles was an early enrollee freshman, very highly regarded player. And he was running at the second team center in spring, but would he be your number 2 center, or would someone else kick over? I don't know the answer to that. But like similarly, if something happened to Will Campbell, God forbid, knock on wood, I think Emory Jones would kick over and play left tackle. And then maybe like Bordelon would go in at right. I think that's probably what they would do. So anyway, I don't know if Kimo moves back. That would probably serve him well. But I guess point being, if something happened to Frazier or Dellinger, Christian Stamps isn't the next guard to go in the game, if that makes sense. Devin, good morning. Carlos Sharp, always love the Varsity Blues reference. Caleb, how about some love for Paul Skenes? Yeah, just talked about that. Learned yesterday, turns 22 this month. It's safe to say the guy's winning at life. Yes, he is. But you know what, man? It's one of the things that sometimes you can tell how young people mature, right? Skenes, I remember we interviewed Skenes when he committed from Air Force. And even then, I remember the conversation with him. I just DM'd him and he came on the show. I mean, he wasn't Paul Skenes at the time, in the sense that we know Paul Skenes. He was the transfer pitcher from Air Force, right? Who probably hadn't been interviewed but a handful of times his whole college career. But even then, I remember he was kind of all business. wasn't emotional, wasn't too high, too low. Like I kind of have an interest in going back and listening to that interview again now, 2 years removed about, but um I think there's just something to be said for um for his level of maturity at 22. And you know what struck me? If you missed it yesterday on AFR, Friday on AFR, we had Gio Paez back on. And I'd only talked to Gio, it was 2 months ago. We talked to Gio on the show after he committed from Wisconsin. And, yesterday was kind of a weird day. Terrio had Houston's graduation, and so he wasn't available. So we kind of had an open day. The game was played and done, right? So we reached out to Gio, and he came back on the show yesterday. And my conversation with him yesterday mapped so much of the conversation I had 2 months ago, and which struck me, it's like, it's so different sometimes talking. Like, it's just, it's very clear sometimes when you're talking to a young person that is more mature because it stands out around people who are not as mature. And it's not to knock an 18, 19, 20-year-old who hasn't matured emotionally yet, because you're 18, 19, 20. A lot of us weren't mature emotionally at 18, 19, 20. But so when someone is, I think it's so much more apparent when someone is. And so I think that's what struck me about, like, Skenes. That's what struck me in the conversation with Gio Paez yesterday. And the first time we talked to him, this guy's 23 years old. He's going into his 6th year. When he came on his recruiting visit, he didn't do any of the pictures. He didn't do the photo shoot. He didn't put on the uniform. He just wanted to come here, watch film, talk ball. How are you going to use me? What's the plan? This is my opportunity. Want to be in a 4-3. Knows what he wants to move from a 3-4, wants to be in a 4-3 where he can play inside, interior defensive tackle, make plays, and then go to the league. And that's the thing he's focused on. When I asked him about not being here for spring, because obviously he had left Wisconsin and he had committed to LSU, but wasn't here in time for spring. He said, it's obviously not ideal, but really the thing you miss out most on is camaraderie. You're being with the boys and all that. Like, God wants to win as well. You know what I mean? So it's one of those things where I know this is a weird tangent, and I'll move on, but sometimes those things are evident. So whenever, who was that? Caleb, who said, Paul Skenes turns 22, safe says winning at life. Yeah, because he's just a vastly more mature 22-year-old than most everybody is at that age, physically and emotionally and everything. So he's been able to handle all the pressure that's come along with, or the circumstances come along with his talent, but also that commitment and focus and maturity has allowed him to develop his physical ability. So long tangent, I know, but I hope that made sense. Hunter Picard, Mojo, morning. Can the Tigers break that horrible Sunday on Saturday curse today? We can just go with game 3 because they did play some Thursday, Friday, Saturday weekends where they were still not good. Thank you, Mojo, for watching. I think you can. And a big part of it, obviously, is whenever you have these game 3s, the big problem LSU has had all season is the fact that when you don't have an established number 3, it makes it really difficult, because when you go sort of bullpen, then you're relying on each pitcher not to break the chain, right? So if you use 5 pitchers, one hands to the next, well, they could all do well, but if one guy drops the ball, well, now you've broken the chain. And so that's the challenge, is everybody you put out there in a bullpen day has to be really good. So, I think, hang on. So Mason Nichols is going to go for Ole Miss. He's a veteran righty. He's thrown 36 innings this year, 41 strikeouts in his 36 innings pitched. Probably not a guy that you'd expect to go deep into the ball game, but being that it's a righty, I'm curious what Jay does if he tries to get more left-handed bats in the lineup again. Do we see Brady Neal catch? I mean, Milazzo has been really good catching. He obviously had an RBI single yesterday. Do you maybe sit Travinsky and DH Neal today to get the extra left-handed bat in the lineup? Don't know. But, Jay, shook things up last week on game 3 and has kind of done the same so far in this series. Had Kling in center. I'm sorry, had Bingham in center again yesterday, and then they brought Kling in as a defensive replacement. So we'll see what he elects to do. Maybe he's given Kling run this weekend because it's senior night and all the his final weekend at the box. But you got to win. So see what they do today. Bill, morning. Great win for the Tigers. Did you notice the triple hit by Tommy White on Thursday? That was the first of his career. I did. Not terribly surprising. I mean, Tommy's not the fleetest of foot. Cortland, really need the office to show up today. Yes, sir. Trey Fisher, what's good, Fish? Hope your Saturday morning's off to a great start. Patrick, morning. Great day to sweep the Rebs and punch our ticket to the NCAAs. I mean, in fairness, Patrick, we have to say, 13 isn't a guarantee, so it's not like you get to 13 and it's a total lock. But I do believe if they hit 13, they're in, especially when you look at that. A win today would effectively knock Ole Miss out. So it narrows the field a bit. So, you'll have to look at bid stealers and things like that in conference tournament week. But yes, I think if LSU wins today, when on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday of next week, when you start to see, being that's conference tournaments next week, you may see the projected fields of 64 come out earlier. Might be Monday. I think you'll see LSU in the field. Like this week, they were a consensus first four out. You sweep this weekend, they'll be probably last four in. Cortland, that's why I'm rooting for all the home teams today. Get Florida, Bama, and Vandy to be stuck at 12. That's absolutely what you want. I mean, create separation among the rest of the league. Austin, good morning from Vegas. I love the no-quit spirit of this team. Let's get a sweep. They have not quit, Austin. That's very true. Hey, Becky, good morning. Gary, good morning. Matt and family from Tennessee. Here for my daughter's wedding. All right, Gary. Happy day for your daughter. Hope it's an awesome day for you and the entire family, man. Cheers to the happy couple. All right, hang on. We got a visitor. Hang on. Well, hi. Are we all done? Okay. Let me see. Okay. All right, let's get you unhooked. Backpack. Hey, do you want to come say hi? Good morning, Dad Show. You want to come say hi, Dad Show? Hey, come say. Oh, wait. No, he gone. As always, shout out to Brock, y'all. After Hours Clinic open nights and weekends. So if you find yourself today needing of an orthopedist, Brock can help you out as always. And our friends at Parrish Construction and Roofing, and by our friends, I mean me. Whoops, that's not at all what I wanted to do. I'm trying to fix the camera from being blurry. Give me 1 second. Just give me one. It's going to go dark for a second, then come right back. And there we are. Okay. Parrish Construction and Roofing, parrishbuilt.com. If you had any issues with your roof with all the inclement weather, we'd love to help you out. Give us a shot. By the way, if you call that number, 364-1007, there's a chance Terrio could answer. Well, maybe not today because they have Houston's graduation. The baccalaureate was yesterday, and today's the graduation. But anyway, doodly doo. So anyway, look at Hunt Palmario, sensitive subject. Talking about Skenes, I would imagine. And that was 20 minutes ago, so he's probably gone by now. Let's see. Yes, Cubs, being a Cubs fan, probably a little conflicted there with Skenes being awesome yesterday, but being awesome against the Cubs. There it is. No Skenes talk, please. Thank you. You know what, Hoot? That is so hypocritical of you to be the guy that sits there and cheers for the Bengals because of Joe Burrow. And now you're going to tell me, don't talk to me about Skenes, the LSU grad who's doing awesome because he did it against your favorite team. You know what? Bleep you and the Cubs. Bleep you and the Bengals. Get out of here. I'm done with you. Patrick Cason, morning, Matt. The bat should make a statement today, win the game for the pitchers. Hope so. But you Bengals, when does the game come on today? 1 o'clock. Shane, wife wanted the whole party. Wife, kid. Got it. Is this number one, Shane? I'm curious. Bubba Smith, Drew Haas, who has the pitching edge for game 3. Well, given the fact that Ole Miss is named a starter, probably Ole Miss. But at the same time, you've had, and the fact that you've been terrible in game threes. I mean, Ole Miss has the advantage. Of course they do. But I like, if it's Ackenhausen, I like Ackenhausen sort of as an opener. See if he gets through the lineup once and, hand it to the next guy. Probably Ulloa. If you want to go lefty, righty, or Dutton. He can go lefty, righty. He can go Dutton, then maybe Lore in a situational spot as a lefty. Then Ulloa. You have Guidry in the back end if you need him. So let's see. If Florida and Ole Miss lose today, they have to win 3 games to finish above 500 because of the double elimination. That's true, because they'd have to win Tuesday in the single elimination. And then you're right, they'd have to win 3 times because they would end up losing twice, but back under. Yeah, so you're right. If Florida and Ole Miss lose today, they're really, really in a pickle. I mean, LSU, that's really the bottom line. You want LSU to win today first, of course, and you would really like to see Georgia beat Florida. That would be very helpful. Jerry, morning from Perdido Key. 2 down, 1 to go for the Tigers. Yes, sir. Josh Burgess, Doug Barrientos, Auburn beating Bama. Brian, talking Hunt. Let's see. Could we maybe start Ack and get Herring for an inning? I don't think Herring is pitching again. And it's not the pitch count for Griffin Herring. It's because you got to remember, it's not just like the fact that he threw 10 pitches and then 20 pitches or whatever it was, 21 pitches. It's the fact that you go through the whole routine of getting hot. And that's the thing that's taxing. And it's stressful pitches because now you're getting hot, you're throwing in the bullpen. It's the whole process of getting ready to pitch. It's not because you're not just going and throwing 10 pitches. It's not like a light bullpen where you're just casually tossing from the mound. I just don't think they're going to use him 3 days in a row. Gulf South, morning. We did a big gender reveal party for our first son, but for our second, we did a gender reveal firework on New Year's Eve. Also, second son was just born yesterday. Mom and baby are healthy. Awesome, Gulf South. Congratulations, man. That's the best news. So, your growing family, cheers. Glad mom and baby are awesome, and wish you all the happiness and joy that comes along with it, man. Congrats to y'all. Let's see, some person. How was 13 and 17 the conference record decided as the minimum for the playoffs? That's a great question. It's not necessarily that it's the magic number. There just has to be a point of demarcation where, because you're going to look at all criteria, strength of schedule, RPI, all of these things, the SEC teams are always going to be better in those spots than non-SEC teams because you're playing 30 SEC. It's why I always tell you midweek games don't matter. And I'm not saying it doesn't matter from a competitive standpoint. You want to play your best and yada, yada. It doesn't matter from a committee standpoint, because when you play 30 league games, they're not going to look at the fact that LSU only lost 1 midweek game, won all their midweek games have won this year. They're going to look at the fact that you got a sub 500 record in conference. That's what they're going to look at. I know Hunt did a bubble watch on his show earlier this week. I don't know if he's still watching, but he did a really good job on it. But for example, like LSU right now, the RPI is 31. They have, let me look at Walter Nolan real quick because they do the quad wins. So, just for example, LSU, the RPI is 31. LSU has a strength of schedule of 21. Their quad one wins are, they're 5-11 in quad one. So they played 16 quad one games. They got 5 quad one wins, 12-7 against quad two. The non-conference strength of schedule is not very good. It's 144. But let's just take this for example, right? Then Illinois, I know, is one of the teams That's a bubble team that they have like in, right? So Illinois' RPI is 47. They're 4-10 against quad one. Their strength of schedule is 75. So you got a better RPI, a better strength of schedule, more quad one games, more quad one wins. They've only played 3 quad two games. They're 2-1 against quad two. So, and then their non-conference strength of schedule is 100th. So that's the one area where they got it. But their league record in a where's their conference record? Let's see. Non-conference, they're 15-11. Why doesn't it show their league record? Anyway, but they have a winning record in a bad league, so it's like that's the thing that gets them benefit of the doubt. So, like, where's sort of the point of demarcation where you say, okay, there's got to be a cutoff somewhere? Well, usually it's where is the breaking point in the conference standings, right? So think about what we're talking about today with LSU, Ole Miss, Florida, all hovering right around 12, 13. Well, if LSU gets to 13 and Ole Miss and Florida are at 12, well, they're sort of your breaking point, right? Like it's generally going to work out that way. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. So let's see. So, for example, you had this break, right? So last year, Florida was at 20, Vandy 19, South Carolina, Tennessee, Kentucky all at 16, Arkansas was at 20, LSU 19, Auburn 17, Bama 16. So you had this drop to A&M, which was at 14, and A&M was at 14 last year and went all the way to the conference tournament championship. So you look at where's the break point. Okay, well after 14, Georgia was at 11, Missouri was at 10, Mississippi State was at 9, Ole Miss was at 6. So there was your drop off point right there was at 14. So generally it's going to happen to where you see that point in the schedule or in the standings where there's just a very noticeable drop off. So South Carolina is right now at 13. But look, I mean, LSU, Bama, Vandy, Florida are all at 12, right? And then Ole Miss is at 11 right now. So if Ole Miss wins today and Bama, Vandy, and Florida all lose, then you have 5 or 6 teams at 12? Well, how do you differentiate? That's really the challenge. But chances are somebody in that mix is going to win and get to 13. Anyway, Rocky, morning, Matt. Still waiting on the hat. Wait, Rocky, you're going to get a hat. Everyone's going to get a hat. We need to connect. New home builder and Alec. Be interested in part. Would love that, dude. That'd be awesome, Rocky. Please let me know. We can absolutely connect. And I promise we'll get you a hat. We got a first order that was just 50 hats for our staff, our crews, all that stuff. But we have the order coming of 500 hats, whatever it is. So I'll be able to get everybody hats. We'll have the hat party coming up. And trust me, I don't want hats sitting in a box in the office. I want hats on people's heads everywhere you go. So we will get you all Parish hats, I promise. But yeah, Rocky, hit me up, man. Would love to connect. Would love the opportunity, man. If we could make that happen, that'd be awesome. Brian, good morning. Cortland, if all the home teams win today, LSU will tie for 7th with South Carolina ahead of Bama, Vandy, and Florida. That'd be awesome. You would be in. Let's see. Austin, I was a total knucklehead at 18. Oh, man, I'm so behind. Let's see. Damon, Bob, Jerry, since jump wasn't extended Thursday, do you think he might be able to give you innings Tuesday? He did throw 85 pitches, Jerry. So I would say no. They're not going to bump him up 2 days. I think, this is just my guess, I think that you will probably start Cade Anderson on Tuesday. He's been your midweek guy. I know it's single elimination on Tuesday, but everybody else is going to be in the same situation. Like nobody's Friday night guy, whoever you match up against. And I haven't looked at the standings to know who it would be. We'll see after today. But whoever it is, nobody's Friday night guy is going to be ready to go on Tuesday after having pitched on Thursday, right? So, so everybody's in the same situation. So my guess is they would start Cade Anderson on Tuesday or potentially Thatcher Hurd. But no, I cannot see them moving jump up 2 days after throwing 80 pitches. So no, I don't see that, Jerry. Apollo Balboa sneaking a regional, no way. Undeserving. What do you mean undeserving? Like, I mean, that's the thing that that's the part I have a really big problem with, to say you're undeserving. Like, if they've won 4 of their last 5 series now. They're playing well. They just had to go to Arkansas and to Tennessee. And yeah, they gagged away series win opportunities against Florida and Bama. That's 2 extra wins they probably should have had, that they gagged away. But you can't tell me in a field of 64, LSU isn't one of the 64 best or most deserving teams. Of course they are. They just play in the toughest league in America. And when you play in that league, you're going to lose games. So, I mean, yeah, of course they're deserving of being in a field of 64. Michael Cook, good morning. Cortland, I mean, by the way, I would put, to your point, I would put all the teams we're talking about in the field of 64. The only Missouri and Auburn would be out. The other 12 SEC teams should all be in because they're all among the 64 best teams in America. Like, that's not even really debatable. They just play in the SEC. It's the hardest league. So you can be a good team that plays in the hardest league, but when you run up like LSU did at Arkansas and at Tennessee, and I mean, you played A&M when they were number 1 in the country and you won that series, don't tell me you're not deserving. It's bullcrap. They're not last year's LSU team. It doesn't mean they're not one of the 64 best. Skenes already made multiple life-altering decisions, choosing to go to the Air Force, devoting himself to service, leave it, pursuit of a pro. Yeah. Dave, game boils down to hitting with runners in scoring position. We're still dead last in SEC play. Where are we? Jerry, Johnny, Brian, hopefully Skenes can avoid arm trouble. Yeah, you know the thing, Brian, I know we all talk about this, but the reason why I think Skenes has a good opportunity. One, it's his arm care and his routine and everything he does, which is so meticulous. But the other thing too is, when you watch a lot of guys that throw 100, and I know we all talk about it, but Skenes' motion is effortless. One of the things he did when he came to LSU that helped boost his velo is he got in the pitching lab and they refined his mechanics that made that motion more efficient. So he throws 100, but it's different than, for example, if you go watch Zach Hess throw 97, 98. That was a max. Same with Alex Lang. That's why those guys became relievers in big. That's why you don't see a lot of starting pitchers throw 100. You see relievers throw 100 because it's max effort for short bursts. Skenes is doing it over 100 pitches, which is stunning. I mean, that's what makes him the unicorn. That's what makes him the outlier, is that he's able to do it and maintain that velocity because it's not a max effort motion. Senior day, I sort of expect Milazzo. Great point. HD Williams, awake for morning scout. Go Tigers. Are we definitely not hosting a regional? Correct. There's no way they host. Let's see. Dave, smash the like button. Thank you, Dave. Here's all the Drew. Good mornings. All right, I'm catching up. Daryl, great watching Skenes make batters look bad yesterday. Great ball movement around the plate. He's awesome. I mean, it goes to show you just, again, why he dominated the way he did. I mean, he's going against the best hitters in the world, and he's making them look like middle schoolers. Bart always makes me smile, makes my day to see Drew. Thank you, Bart. Bob, thoughts on lifting Travinski for, say, Fry, Hayden's 071. I would not put Fry in. If you're going to lift Travinski, I would, especially today, I would DH Neal. I would get the left-handed bat in there with Neal. Fry has just not been very good. Now, he hit a warning track fly on, was it yesterday or was that Thursday? and a pinch hit at bat. But Fry has not hit consistently enough in SEC play. Like we've gone through that with Fry. And I mean, I think Fry, there's a great chance that next year Fry is your Jared Jones. He's the big bopper that stands on first base and clubs homers. I do also know that there's a JUCO first baseman they're going after. That's a power bat as well. So that may be ultimately the direction they go. But we'll see. Fry comes back next year for his third year. I mean, there's always the portal possibilities and everything. But I know we talked about this a little bit ago, but Fry got an opportunity in the Florida series, and the first game of the Florida series was awesome. I'm looking it up right here. So he went, he was 2 for 4 in that game one. And after that, he went, since that 2 for 4, I know we totaled this up. Let's see. 0 for 1, 1 for 2. So that's 2 for 3, 2 for 6, 2 for 10, 2 for 13. No, I'm sorry. After the 2 for 4. Let's go after 2 for 4. 0 for 1. So he's 1 for 3, 1 for 7, 1 for 11, 1 for 14, 2 for 15, 2 for 16, 2 for 17, 2 for 18, 2 for 21, 2 for 24, 2 for 25, 3 for 27, 3 for 28, 4 for 29, 4 for 30, 4 for 31. So since that 2 for 4 game against Florida, he's 4 for 31. He's hitting 129. No. 129 with, by the way, 1 for 29 with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10, 11 with 11 strikeouts. That's I can't justify. I can't justify. If Jay thinks there's a spot where you need a big bat and possibly a homer, and you're looking for a big bat off the bench, maybe. But your offense has struggled so much this year. How do you justify 4 or 5 at bats in a game for Ethan Fry? You just have better options. Like I would play if you're looking to sit Travinsky, who's really struggled, and I think it was the right decision last week in Game 3 to give him like a mental rest day. I would have started Neal. I would DH Neal, but instead he DH Larson and put Brown in the outfield. Let's see. Gary, Dustin, Tiger Diver. All right, Shana will be the first. Okay, y'all do it big, man. Robert Potts, Matt, if you pinpoint one thing to change for next year's team, what do you think? An assistant coach, pitching, youth simply growing. Yeah, man, look. You're going to have to go in the portal again, like you will every year. You would love it if there's a starting pitcher in the portal. Remember, you'll have Chase Shores, Cade Anderson, very likely Griffin Herring. Griffin's a draft eligible sophomore. If he comes back, he's coming back with the opportunity to be a starter. Cam Johnson. I mean, that's 4 guys right there currently on the team that are going to be vying for rotation jobs next year. So you don't have enough weekend spots for those 4 guys. Someone's left out in the cold. Then do you add a Luke Coleman, a Gage Jump? Do you add a portal guy this year? Do you, I think that's going to be key. I mean, everybody you talk, I know fans have gotten on Nate Yeske this year, and I get it. I mean, it's not been great. They're coming on. The pitching staff clearly has come on of late. But one of the things that I think really is, I think part of the reason the pitching staff is doing better is because they've just shortened the staff, right? I mean, they've shortened the staff such that, like, we know who the guys are they count on. You're not seeing Javen Coleman or Cam Johnson. You're not seeing guys down the line right now. get innings. It's Jump, Holman, Herring, Little, Ackenhausen, Guidry. Ulloa's getting a little run right now. Again, like we're not seeing Hurd, Bucknam, Primo, Helmers, Cam Johnson. Like you're not seeing what guys have anymore. You know who the guys are you count on, and you're rolling with the guys you count on. Let's see. Cortland, he said it yesterday, Brad. Sports are played by athletes. You don't have to be an athlete to play golf. I do believe that. Oh, wait, I missed a bunch. Hang on. Oh, here we go. Sorry. Bart, it would be nice if Guidry could get it going today if he comes in. His breaking ball when working is almost possible. It's true. Let's see. I saw the hypocrite comment with Burrow coming. Hunt deserved it. Clayton, I wonder how many we leave stranded today. Awesome. Way to go, Clayton. Stay hot. David Bass, I say start Hurd, do or die. He has to get his head straight. Go Tigers. I don't think they're going to start Hurd today. But again, I do think Hurd would be an option on Tuesday. I think Hurd or Kate Anderson would probably be your options on Tuesday. Deborah, good morning. I think it's crazy Florida's considered a lock if they finish 2 games over 500 just because they played and lost to good teams. Brad, why did you say golf is not a sport? What do you consider a sport? Got it. There's the question. So, my feeling is sports are played by athletes. I think golf is a very difficult and very competitive game, but it's not a sport because you don't have to be an athlete. That's not to say athletes don't play golf. There are most certainly athletes on the PGA Tour, but not all golfers are athletes. You can be a great golfer without being a great athlete. You cannot be a great football player without being a great athlete. You cannot be a great baseball player without being a great athlete. You cannot be a great basketball player without being a great athlete. Golf is a very challenging game that very few humans in the world can play at a high level, but you do not have to be an athlete to be able to play golf. My wife's grandfather would still go play golf with us when he was in his 80s. And he'd poke his driver down the middle and he'd hit it straight and he'd get up and down. 80-year-old man, had good hand-eye, controlled the club through the zone. Doesn't mean you're a great athlete. James Dean, if we make a regional, where do you think they will send us? So that's really interesting, James, because there isn't necessarily a geographical regional that makes sense. Like a lot of times when teams from Louisiana make a regional, if it's ULM or Southern or Grambling or ULL, they'll send them to Baton Rouge. UNO, they'll send them to Baton Rouge. Geographically, it makes sense. There isn't that, and they're not going to send in a sub-regional, the old sub-regional, but anyway, in the 4-team regional, they're not going to send LSU to an SEC schools regional. So it really is one where it could be anywhere. I mean, we've seen LSU go to Eugene and Corvallis and Los Angeles, and we saw them go to Hattiesburg a couple of years ago. So, I mean, if Southern Miss were hosting, that'd be great. They're not gonna. So, really, anything is possible. I mean, they could send LSU to Terre Haute, Indiana, to the Indiana State Regional. I mean, that could happen. And can you imagine if you're Indiana, you're the Sycamores? Oh, great, we get to host for the second year in a row, and we get LSU as our 3 seed. Congrats. Luis, Todd, does one win in Hoover get you in? Not if they lose today, Todd. You've got to win today to get to 13. And if you win today and win Tuesday in Hoover, then I think then you're in, yes. But if you lose today, you're going to need more than one win in Hoover. I think if you lose today, you're probably going to have to win the SEC tournament. We've just never, again, like I'll say it again, we have in this format since 99, there has not been an SEC team go 12-18 and make a regional. So you would have to be the first ever to do that. So you got to win today. Cortland, despite that LSU is better than conservatively 50% of potential 3 and 4 seeds. Yes, that's nauseating about the thing for me, but I also understand that there's a committee that Doesn't want to regionalize the game. They want to make sure that there are teams from, all over the country that get in to continue to grow and expand the game in different parts of the country. And I get that. But that doesn't mean that's what's fair and equitable. Dale, we just don't have enough offense. Dale, I'll remind you that Florida won the national championship in 2017, hitting like 210 as a team. So now they pitched it great. Remember, they had 3 big league starters in that rotation. But you don't just have to have offense. Cortland, SEC generally gets at least 8 teams. Being a top 8, that's what you want. The SEC gets more than 8. SEC will get 10. Brian Wynn, you don't have to be an athlete to play golf. You have to be able, but you have to be able to drive a car. I could tell initially that was a NASCAR joke or if that was a Scotty Scheffler joke, but clearly that was a Scotty Scheffler joke. Dave, I know this won't sit well with most, but you start Hurd today. You got to get him back in the mix because you will need him to move on. Ole Miss is the best option for him to gain confidence. Dave, I'm not opposed to starting Hurd. I just don't think he's going to do it. He's had opportunities. He could have started Hurd last Sunday against Bama. He went with Dutton. Jay's telling you the guys he trusts right now. Like, again, actions speak louder than words. Hurd, I'm not disagreeing with you. I think you need to get Thatcher Hurd going, and this was the time of year last year when he really got going. My guess is he's going to start Ackenhausen today. I don't know. Like, if I knew, I told you. If I knew, I would tell you. I don't know what he's going to do, and I haven't gotten a text yet to tell me what he's going to do. But my guess is he's going to start Nate. He's going to start Nate as the opener. Let him go see if he can get him through the lineup once, and then on to the next. Dutton, Ulloa, Lohr would be available today. Guidry. But the last time we saw Hurd was the game 3 against A&M, and he didn't record an out. We haven't seen him since. So he gave you an inning against Grambling. He faced one hitter against Auburn in the 3-2 win. And prior to that, he hadn't pitched in conference play since the Vanderbilt weekend. He's got 6 appearances in SEC play all year. Jay's telling you he trusts, man. Hi, you want to say good morning? Hey, come see. Come say hi to Dad Show. Come see. Hey. Gone. Hey, y'all, shout out to Brock. Remember, if you find yourself in need of an orthopedist today, you can always find our friends at Brock, brortho.com. They're the best. We appreciate Brock. They've been with us a long time. And, of course, the after-hours clinic is right there inside of the Surgical Specialty Center on Bluebonnet near Perkins in Baton Rouge. But you've got Brock locations all over the greater Baton Rouge. 246 watching live. I love that. Do me a favor. Please smash that like button. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page, share the post. We appreciate y'all for being with us. And, of course, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Parish is pinned in the chat. If you would just click the Parish link, there's a form on the homepage. Fill it out. We'll give you a free, no obligation roofing inspection. If you'd rather, you can call us. Same phone number as before, 364-1007, 364-1007, 364-1007. Okay. Let's see. Cortland, if LSU can manage to beat who I think will be Vandy on Tuesday without Jumper Holman, LSU has the shot at 3 wins in Hoover. Kentucky would be your game 2. Let's see. Gulf South, didn't you say did you have a guy on from D1 a few years ago that said conference tournament games also count for your conference record? So even if LSU loses today but wins Tuesday, they'd have 13. Right, Gulf South, but you're missing the point. The teams that I've mentioned in the past are also teams that were 12 and 18 and got into Hoover. And even if they won games, you're looking at that line being 13 in the regular season is the line. So yes, they would count for positioning and solidifying your spot. But again, 12 and 18 in the regular season has never gotten a team into regional play. So yes, you're right. That was Kendall Rogers we talked about. So the committee will consider those as SEC wins, but the line is as a regular season record. Daryl, add the turnover on the roster this year and growing pains makes them even more deserving. Good way to look at it. Hey, Aunt Sharon, good morning. Looking forward to seeing you next weekend. Got our Scone family crawfish bowl next weekend. Looking forward to that. Kelly Presley, go Tiger Skenes reminds me of Nolan Ryan. Let's see, Cortland Gulf South. You still want 13? Yeah, regular season. Jason, what's going on? Let's see, need another solid defensive catcher. Let's see. Yesterday was the Fry pinch hit. Dale, why do you think Hurd went backwards from last year? Dale, I had the conversation at the beginning of the year, and I have shared this. They changed a few things mechanically with Hurd, and in particular sequencing, and it flattened him out a little bit. Flattened his pitches out. Like you didn't see as much of an overhand breaking ball. It just flattened out slider, fastball. And I think that was part of the struggle early. And then after Houston, when he pitched against Texas State and gave you 5 innings. After that is when they sort of switched him up, and he gave you 5 against Xavier and was pretty good. 1 run and 4 hits. And then they went into SEC play, and he got hammered by Mississippi State. He gave up 7 runs in 5 innings. And then he gave up 5 runs against Florida in 4 2/3. And then he just didn't pitch again. So not in a starting role or an extended role. So part of it was you dug yourself that deep hole in SEC play. And so they were looking for options. And that's when they went to Cade Anderson. And, they were looking for options in league play. And so they started spinning their wheels. And I don't think it ever allowed him the opportunity to keep getting out there and getting work to see if he could find his groove. It just didn't happen for him. Let's see. To be fair, choosing between Travinski, Fry, and Neal is a toss-up. All 3 have been terrible to play with loads of strikeouts. Pick a name from a hat. Live with the outcome. I disagree. The difference is we have seen Travinski have long stretches where he was very good against SEC pitching. I think part of that was it was a year ago when you had Dylan Cruz and Tommy White and Joe Bear and Morgan, and you had so many great bats in the lineup that some teams just had to decide who they were going to pitch to. And so Travinski hit over 300 last year. Neal is another bat from the left side of the plate who does give you the power stroke and doesn't have quite the strikeouts that now more plate appearances, obviously. But Fry hasn't been a consistent starter to get you the number of at-bats in a large enough sample that you could say, okay, that's what he is. So, for example, Neal's hitting 276, Fry's at 226, Travinski's 266. So Neal's 276, Travinski 266, Fry's 226. On base percentage, Neal 415, Travinski 384, Fry's on base percentage 283. So you see the point, like it's not exactly what and what. And Neal's from the left side of the plate as well. So no, they're not all the same. You're Neal has had 105 ABs, Travinski 184, Fry 53. So much larger sample size with Travinski and Neal, but Neal has been the more consistent producer when he's gotten his opportunity, and he's a bat from the left side, which is why I would say today, Ole Miss starting the righty, Jay likes to load up the lineup with lefties, get Neal in there. Catch Milazzo, senior day, all that stuff. Catch Milazzo if you want to sit Travinski, bat Neal. But then again, senior day, you're probably putting Travinski in the lineup on senior day. So, I would probably expect to see Bingham, Travinski, Milazzo, all of your seniors in the lineup today. Competitively, I'd probably prefer to see Neal DH, but he'll probably, now I'm thinking it out loud, he probably is going to roll with all his seniors. Mark, good morning. Southern Miss baseball rolling again. Worried about Spencer Rattler, rookie of the year 2024, named after my favorite 80s hairband rat. Okay. Brittany Delahousse, what up, Brittany? Good morning. You think Tom Brady is a great athlete? Tom Brady is a great athlete. That's objective fact that Tom Brady is a great athlete. Just like Drew Brees is a great athlete. He was a Hall of Fame football player. He also had D1 baseball scholarships. He can dunk a basketball. He's a scratch golfer. Yes. Go Tigers. Tom Brady and Peyton Manning aren't very athletic. Look how they run. That's factually inaccurate. Just because you don't run a blazing 40 doesn't mean you're not a great athlete. We see 300-pound linemen that don't run a great 40 time that are super athletic, quick feet, hand-eye, quick twitch. That's all very important in being athletic. Bingo. Thank you, Cortland. They aren't fast, but you don't have to be fast to be an athlete. That's the point. Is Shaq a great athlete? He's 7 feet tall, who was massively explosive and athletic. We've seen guys that are bigger than Shaq that weren't great in the NBA. They were in the NBA because they were 7'6". Shaq was a great athlete. Not super fast, but a great athlete. Let's see. Chance, Southern Miss was super, went to Oregon that year. No, I'm talking about Jay's first year. I'm talking about Jay Johnson's first year when the Oregon year when they won the Maneri's last year in 21, they won the Eugene Regional and went to Knoxville. Jay's first year, they went to Hattiesburg. Dale, who's responsible for picking the 2-lane green for Parrish? 2-lane green, or how about like forest green, or just green? That's cool. Wife's cousin was Florida's closer in 17. Chase, winning out and winning the SC tournament wouldn't give us a regional host. No. LSU's not win the SEC tournament, you're still not hosting a regional. Rick Kelly, do you think they start Jump Tuesday? I do not. Someone asked that earlier, Rick. You're not going to bring Jump back on 2 days short rest. I think Tuesday, remember, everybody's in the same position on Tuesday. Nobody's starting their ace on Tuesday. It would be treated like a midweek. My opinion is you would end up either starting Cade Anderson or Thatcher Hurd. Probably Cade Anderson. Cortland, only 4 conference series wins. Oh, y'all are going back and forth. Let's see. Please smash the like button if you're on YouTube. Subscribe up to the channel. Facebook, like the Matt Moscona page. Share the post. Jeff, what's going on? Austin, Happy Gilmore proved that bad hockey players can become world champion golfer, but a golfer cannot become a great hockey player. I love the reference. People blindly hating on Jay like it's unique. Let's see. Walking golf burns a lot of calories. So does, walking around your neighborhood. Clint, hopefully Hurd and Yeski have been in the lab, and Hurd will come out with a few things fixed mechanically and mentally. Speaking of Travinski, Twitter showed some of his swings last year. His hand launch position was totally different. This year, dropping his hands to his waist. Passing on to Guru J. Okay. Okay. I think we're done. All right. Thanks for being here, y'all. Unless anybody's got anything left. LSU baseball, 1:00. Excited to see him play today, man. Hopefully Tigers go get a win. Sweep this series and for all intents and purposes, punch their ticket into regional play. You're cheering against the other 12-win teams. You're cheering against Bama. You're cheering against Florida today. So you're cheering against Vandy. So you'd love to see LSU get to 13 and sort of bump up ahead of all those other 12-win teams. So, all right. As always, shout out to Brock, the Baton Rouge Orthopedic Clinic, brortho.com, brortho.com, and of course, Parish Construction and Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for being here. Well, now I've got a few more. Rick, would you start Helmer's Tuesday? I would not. Looking at SEC stats only, Fry's hitting 50 higher than Neal. Neal has higher on base percentage. Stravinsky still leads both stats. And go Tigers. You have to be very athletic to be a professional golfer. Y'all kick rocks in that. No, you don't. No, you don't. I've watched golf my whole life. I think Tiger revolutionized who plays golf. I think young athletic people took up golf because they watched Tiger do it. But if you go watch golf in the 90s and times before, not a whole lot of super athletic looking dudes playing golf. Okay, we're done. Y'all have a great day. Thanks for watching. And again, you're missing whoever that was again. Go Tigers. Again, you're missing the point. Go Tigers. It's not to say that golfers are not athletic or that no athletes play golf. Certainly, there are athletes that play golf. Absolutely, there are. However, you do not have to be a great athlete. You don't have to be able to run fast or have quick twitch. Be able to flip your hips, turn and run, like all the things, jump high, be explosive, all the things that constitute athletic movements. You just have to have good hand-eye. Actually, you don't even have to have good hand-eye because the object you're hitting isn't moving, but it is very difficult to have control. And, it's a precision game. Like darts is a precision game. There are people who are exceptional at that. Curling, you don't have to be an athlete to do curling. It's a game. Shuffleboard, game. Don't have to be an athlete. Anyway. Okay. I mean, everybody's talking about John Daly. That's low-hanging fruit, but yeah. Clayton Knight mentioned pool or billiards. Great point. You don't have to be an athlete to play that game. That's not to say there aren't athletes that do it, but you don't have to be athletic to do it. Okay. We're done. Y'all have an awesome day. Give us a shout. Parish Construction and Roofing,